Well, guys. The Fani Willis embezzlement scam, that's what I'm actually going to call it, folks. It just ended. Now, you guys know that Fani Willis was actually disqualified from the Georgia election interference case against President Trump. It was all fake anyway, guys. Now, the reason I actually call it an embezzlement scam is because this woman hired Nathan Wade, the man who she was actually sleeping with, to prosecute the case. This man had no experience in this whatsoever, but at the end of the day, the taxpayers out there in Fulton County, they got scammed. They got scammed big time, folks, because Nathan Wade got something like what? $650,000? And he was taking that money and taking Fani Willis around the world, across the country, while he was actually busting her guts in. Yeah. They got disqualified, folks. And I knew that this is probably going to be the final outcome that we actually got today. Because there was some prosecutor out there in Georgia, man, he couldn't find anybody to take up this case after Fani Willis was disqualified. He said, all right, I'm going to take it up myself. Folks, we should have known that wasn't going to last. It is not official, guys. The Georgia election interference case is completely dead now. Fani Willis takes a major L. President Trump gets a huge W. Yeah. So effectively, guys, President Trump has now ended Fani Willis's career because, folks, she was definitely going to try to elevate herself to some higher office off of prosecuting Trump and getting him in prison. Now, guys, this is the one case where it was a state case, not a federal case. And if he was convicted, now I highly doubt he probably would have actually went to prison. But technically, he could have went to prison and he couldn't pardon himself. But of course, the whole case just fell apart. And I'm pretty sure the deep state was very upset because they wanted President Trump gone. I mean, guys, I can't think of any politician that's had to endure what President Trump had to endure. I mean, lawsuits everywhere, prosecutions, trying to throw him in jail, assassination attempts. And here we are, guys, the day before Thanksgiving, and President Trump is still standing strong. As far as Fani Willis goes, yeah, that's a wrap. That's a wrap. She probably can't get to higher office anywhere. So let's go ahead and get into it, guys. Here we go. Right over here. Breaking. Georgia case brought by Fani Willis against President Trump officially dropped. Yeah. Didn't go well for Fani Willis, folks. She couldn't keep it, I guess you could say, out of her pants, with Nathan Wade. But anyway, the Georgia prosecutor who took over the 2020 election case against President Donald Trump and other co-defendants from Fulton County DA Fani Willis has dropped the case. Willis was disqualified from the case in 2024, and prosecutor Pete Skandalakis, that's the way you pronounce his name, took up the case. But anyway, quote, in my professional opinion, the citizens of Georgia were not served by pursuing this case in full for another 5 to 10 years, the prosecutor wrote, adding that he was ending the case, quote, to serve the interests of justice and promote judicial finality. Yeah, because President Trump, when he actually gets out of office, folks, he'll be 82 years old? And then you mean to tell me they're actually going to try to go after him again for this and the whole thing was a hoax? I mean, trying to go after him when he's almost 90 years old? Ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. Now, let's watch this CNN clip, guys. Here we go.
This is CNN Breaking News.
We are following breaking news just into CNN. A Georgia prosecutor officially dropped the historic racketeering case against President Trump and others for attempting to overturn the 2020 presidential election. I want to go right to CNN's Kara Scannell. What are you learning, Kara?
Good morning, Pam. Yeah, this new filing in from the prosecutor who had taken the place to look into the Fulton County investigation of Donald Trump and others has filed a motion with the court saying that they are not going to move forward with the case. They're dropping the charges. What he filed what's known as a nolle pros, and that means that in theory, because if the statute of limitations hasn't run out, a case could be refiled. But he attached to his filing about a 20-page statement explaining his rationales for why he did not think that they should move forward with this case. You'll remember this was the case that began with Donald Trump making the call to the Georgia Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, urging him to find the votes. And then District Attorney Fani Willis brought this historic investigation and filed those racketeering charges against Donald Trump and dozens of others for interfering with the 2020 election. She was then disqualified from the case because of an undisclosed romantic relationship with another prosecutor. And that is how this case now fell into the hands earlier this month of a prosecutor who was assigned the job of trying to find someone to take on this case. He said that he couldn't because there were too many conflicts, and he took it on himself. Now we're seeing the results of that, and that is that he is saying that they are not going to move forward with this case. And he summarized it in part by saying that he made this decision by examining the case file, examining what the jury had been presented, and also considerations of the law. He says that, contesting an election is not unlawful, but and that is part of the reasons for why he decided not to move forward with the charges at this point. But again, this is a nolle pros filing, meaning that they're dropping the case right now. In theory, it could be revived if the statute of limitations doesn't run out. But of course, Donald Trump is still in office for another 3 years. Pam, this is the last of the criminal prosecutions that have been hanging over Donald Trump as he entered the White House. The only conviction that he faced out of the 4 indictments was the one in New York for the hush money payments. And that one he is appealing. Pam?
All right.
Yeah. So the whole entire Democrat scam is falling apart, folks. The whole thing is falling apart. Remember Fani Willis said that the train is coming? The train ain't coming, Fani Willis. And I guess she knows that, folks, because even though she still wanted to prosecute Trump, she was still out there hanging out with Nathan Wade. When she said their relationship ended, nobody believes that relationship ended, folks. Nobody does. Nathan Wade probably today is still busting them guts right now. But her career is over with, folks. Fani Willis's career is over with. She is peaked in Georgia. There's nowhere else she can actually go that I can think of. No way. I mean, yeah, I get Fulton County is like super duper blue. But what else can she do, folks? What else can she do? Her reputation is ruined. Ruined. I mean, she's pretty much stole $650,000 in a kickback scheme with Nathan Wade. And here we are now. All the charges are dropped. Now, as to Trump's lawyers, remember, she went after Trump's lawyers. Folks, for the simple fact they gave legal advice. And the ones that actually pled guilty, Jenna Ellis, you look like a fool today. You look like a complete fool. You didn't commit a crime. President Trump didn't commit a crime. But you admitted to guilt when you didn't do anything wrong? Yeah, that's weak, man. That's weak. But President Trump, man, he is not weak. So, what do you guys make of this, man? What is the next move for Fani Willis now? She can never prosecute Trump again. Oh, boy. This is great, man. I mean, she couldn't do it anyway, but let's say this case continued on and some prosecutor went through with it and Trump got convicted. That would have actually been a win for Fani Willis. Not anymore. Not anymore. Her career now is killed. That's a wrap. That's just my thoughts on this. What do you guys think of this? Black and White Network fans, let us know what you think about all this in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And we'll catch you next time.